So if you're watching this, you missed out on that shitty first live that I tried doing 16 minutes ago. The connection was really bad, and I didn't have any alternatives to fixing it other than changing the internet connection and starting a new live stream. So hopefully this one does better. I'm gonna keep an eye out on it just in case. It usually, like, when it starts up, everything seems fine, but then the more it progresses, the shittier it gets. So hopefully if you were just watching it and you immediately got logged out, you know you're up to date right now. Yeah, just doing a fresh start. Everything seems fine, but just to be sure, I'm just gonna double check. Then we can get on to the whole point of today, which is live streaming this. Been so much. Let's just double check. Everything seems fine. That's great. I'm just gonna keep this on my lap. Keep this going. Remember to take a second look behind me just to be 100% sure it's working. Are you gonna shit out now? No. Okay. All right. Let's try this again. So, for those of you wondering that why all of a sudden I decided to jump on a Predator sculpt, even though I had, a million other projects I needed to work on, let alone, finish. But there's just certain things when you kind of get there's certain things when it immediately starts to pull you in, it's hard to resist. And this was kind of like one of those things where I was just coming up with concepts and ideas and of new projects I want to start on, and other things I want to, different busts I want to make, not just small scale, because usually everything I do is just kind of either between a foot to a foot and a half tall. So I wanted to do something a little bit bigger, but I didn't want to wait to do it. I mean, I've been working on the Godzilla for way too long. It's been kind of a nuisance to me, because there's so many other things I'm eager to jump back on right away. And because I haven't had a chance to start on new things, I just thought to take a little break, see how fast I can get this done. Because my goal was to try to work on this and finish it within 2 weeks. And if I didn't get it done within 2 weeks, I'll call it quits and I'll go back to whatever I was working on. But it seems like it's coming close to the 2 weeks. Obviously, it's not coming close, halfway there. And I just wanna see how far I can get. If not, if I could finish within, by next Sunday. I have done an entire time lapse of this, so at some point I want to put that video together and be a massive 10-minute time lapse of me sculpting this from beginning to end. But it takes a while to upload all that footage. I think it's in total I have 8 hours to upload, which is a lot. It's a lot of hours to upload. And my computer, as you can see by these shitty live streams, isn't that super powerful. So, and it's a MacBook Pro with a 1 terabyte of storage, yet it can't handle a simple live stream, let alone uploading 8 hours of footage. So we'll see when I'll be able to do that. But for now, you guys can see up to date where it's at. And I don't know how far I'm going to get done within 2 hours. I'm going to finish at 9:20 because we started a little late today because of the first attempt at excuse for a live stream. But since everything seems to be working now and signal seems to be fine, I think we'll be good for a couple hours. But so I'll explain to you guys where I'm at and the whole point of doing this, other than what I've already explained, which is I wanted to move past doing small busts. I wanted to do something bigger. But I've always loved the Predator. And I tend to sculpt, which it can apply to everything you do in life. You tend to do what you like the most, and not and as a vendor, not so much as what would sell, more so what I would enjoy making, and what I would appreciate someone buying from me, rather than making what the what people want, and being content with kind of enslaving yourself to that project for a while. And that's a harsh way to put it. You're not necessarily enslaving yourself, but you are, to some degree you are, because you're investing, let's say like a couple months, couple weeks, to work on a project, and then you're going to spend a lot longer casting and painting. So I tend to make sure whatever I'm doing, I know I'm going to enjoy doing it multiple times, not just once. And when trying to figure out how I wanted to scale up in size and what I wanted to do, the Predator was definitely one of them. I tend to revisit projects I've already worked on. For example, the Frankenstein. When I was in high school, I did full bust. That was really shitty, but it was one of my first sculptures, and I remember being really proud of it. It was actually the first sculpture I ever molded. That was when I first picked up molding. And it was a really shitty mold, of course. But I'm gonna work on this a little bit while I explain, so you're not just looking at his profile while I blabber on. But yeah, it's a really shitty mold. I threw it away maybe about a year ago. I actually kept it around for quite a lot of time. I thought, I always thought I was gonna revisit it, remold it. But obviously it was beyond saving at this point. Once I revisited one of the castings, I realized, it doesn't look like what I remember it looking like, which, that's usually the case when you haven't looked at something for a long time. You revisit it and you realize, it has been some time, because it just looks terrible. But yeah, the Frankenstein was, I digress. The Frankenstein was one of the projects I worked on in high school, and I eventually revisited it multiple times, and as well as Godzilla. That's my second time revisiting that sculpture in a different, unique way. And one of the sculptures I did, another sculpture I did in high school, was a predator head. It was probably about like this much of the head, probably around like that much, and it was on this like piece of board, wooden, like plywood or whatever. And right next to it, I sculpted a alien head. But and it was just like the front face of the alien head, so it was probably about this big. And the predator head was a lot smaller, because I couldn't visualize scale at that time. I didn't realize predator head life size. If I wanted to sculpt a life size predator head, I would have to form it over a life size human head, because essentially it's a mask. So I couldn't figure that scale to size, so it's kind of like a little smaller. Might be around like this big. And it's hideous, of course. And I sculpted it out of pottery clay. So I, baked it in a kiln, and a lot of it exploded. Because if you haven't worked with, pottery, when you bake the clay, if there's any air pockets, you understand the whole principle. When air is trapped and it's heated up, it expands. And if you have like a little air bubble, a little like pocket in your pottery sculpture, if it heats up and there's a little, little bubble in there, it'll expand and, pop. So you'll have like broken pieces everywhere. And that happened all over that sculpture. So I had to glue a bunch of pieces on after I baked it. But yeah, so, I continue to rant on, but that's my whole point of me wanting to revisit this project. I like to see how far I've grown, how much I've learned, and seeing the comparison of, something I did like 4 years ago compared to now is kind of satisfying. And by no means is this sculpture going to be a masterpiece. I definitely haven't put in enough time to really refine it, and I'm definitely not going to put in a whole lot of time, because the whole point of this is try to see how I can efficiently, like, because this is this, on top of this being sculpture I want to revisit, something I wanted to work on for a while. I also wanted to task myself to see how fast I can kind of accomplish something. And obviously speed, it doesn't equate to something beautiful. You'll end up rushing it and it can turn to crap. But the whole point was not to turn it to crap, because I've definitely rushed things and turned it to shit. So the whole point was to try to see how fast I can do it, while also putting in a little bit of heart to make sure it doesn't turn into a big steaming pile of clay. And so far it's decent. I mean, there's certain areas I would definitely want to spend more time in, especially right here in the dome. You can see when I shine the shadow, some of the the muscles on the top don't look very symmetrical. Which, I mean, it being the Predator, doesn't really need to, but I would like it to. I would like to look at something and see the cleanest version of it, rather than it's a monster. It's supposed to be messy. I don't like using that excuse. But, yeah. So that said, I'm trying to get it done within, I have 7 days left, so I'm really trying to narrow it down. I'm getting pretty close. I'm not sure if I want to finish the neck and, work on the chest. I definitely think I can finish this whole thing in 2 days, but that's if I had 2 days left, because I can already see the clay starting to crack. And that's the thing about wet clay. This is called wet clay, WED. Not wet clay, wed clay. It's almost like the perfect clay. It has the perfect consistency when you start off, so you can block out, you can make your forms, move it however you want, and then once it starts to harden, you start to refine some of the forms, and then once it starts to harden even more, then you can go in and start adding detail on it. It has that layer of when it dries, where if you're efficient enough, you can catch each of those stages and get work done between those stages. You can if you work fast enough, and by the time it starts to harden too much, you won't be forming, you'll be detailing. And hopefully before it starts cracking, because this clay shrinks, because as water escapes it, it starts to shrink, and that's when it starts to crack. As you can see here, it's starting to lift up over this form, because it's starting to pull it in. So I'm getting to the point where I need to hurry the fudge up. But yeah, getting close. All that's left right now, that's going to be a little bit more time consuming, is I'm trying to work in the mouth here, adding all those muscles, all those stretches. I've kind of worked a little bit more here. Now I'm moving into this area, working in the middle, trying to make it look good. And also I need to replicate this pattern on to this side, because I don't want it to be too off, because it's going to look kind of funky. So I want to make sure it's going to be the exact direction and the exact angle. It's just mirrored on this side, which I'll try a few ways, but I don't think it'll be too difficult. And then obviously the dreadlocks, which this is going to be easy. My goal is to finish this, just the bust. And then I can move on to doing all those little details as long as this is done, because I don't want to keep this around for too long, because I've worked on wet clay before. This is actually, I think, my second wet clay sculpture. And it's something you really have to get used to. It's not difficult to use at all. If anything, it's probably the best clay to start with when you're first learning. It teaches you, discipline, efficiency, and the discipline comes from you trying to make sure you finish it in time before it dries up, and also maintaining it. You're constantly having to spray it, bag it up before you call it a day. I like to put wet towels on it. Just don't move the wet towels, because then it'll mess with your texture. I just put a towel on it, and then I'll spray spritz bottle, and they'll keep the water from evaporating too much, because the water can definitely over evaporate pretty quickly, even if you do bag it. So I'm trying to preserve it as long as I can, because I want to finish it before it dries up, because I'm not that fast of a sculptor. Hope you guys can hear me, because I'm speaking, the microphone's back here and I'm speaking this way. But yeah. What was my point? I get distracted really easily. But yeah, I'm just trying to be a little bit more efficient and kind of speed through this before it gets to a point where I can't take, patching up the cracks. But yeah, I definitely haven't worked with this clay too often. Like I said, this is my second time. The first time I did this massive wet clay alien bust, and sadly I wasn't able to finish it before it dried out and cracked. And that's my whole point with, you can't slack on a wet clay sculpture, especially if it's smaller. If you're using less than 2 bags, it's definitely going to shrink up within a week, especially if you're not taking care of it. But you can definitely maintain a wet clay sculpture for a couple months, especially if you're really maintaining it. But I suggest getting it done as fast as you can. Not rushing through it. You know what I mean. Like just don't slack on it. Like if you're gonna start on a wet clay sculpture, finish it. Don't put it off for a couple weeks. The clay could get moldy. It could dry up in certain areas, and every time you come back to revisit it, all you're doing is just fixing things you've already finished. Certain areas that dried out, and you just have to break them off and redo them, and it's just wasting time. But yeah. If I do get pretty far by the end of next week, I definitely will start working on this part. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna mold it yet. That's been an issue. I've already discussed with myself mentally, and I just don't know how I'm gonna do it. If I'm gonna do a matrix mold, which, like I said, I'm not super proud of this sculpture. Completely. Just because, there's a lot of variables as to why this isn't what I want it to be. But because it is the Predator, it's not like a very specific looking thing. I mean, it's pretty, iconic. But when it comes to like certain wrinkles, certain like patterns in certain areas, you don't have to be too like keen on it. I'm trying to, but you don't have to like stress yourself over it. So it's not like it has to look perfect, but at the same time, there is certain areas I wish I could, tune up a little bit more, but I just simply don't have the time. I have my other sculptures I need to work on, and this one was kind of a test. I do want to mold it, and that's mainly because I put so much time into it. Even though you could say 2 weeks isn't a lot, but when you're working 8 hours a day, it definitely is a lot. I definitely haven't been working 8 hours a day on this, not to be hypocritical, because I've also been working on other stuff. Like I said, I have like 8 to 10 hours of just footage. Actually, no, because that's 8 to 10 hours of footage. I haven't been recording for all of this, just for certain parts of it. But you see kind of a little bit in the mouth what it looks like. It's kind of nasty. But yeah, I don't mean to shit on my art. I stand by my shit. If I'm not proud of my art completely, someone talks shit about it, I'll stand against my stuff no matter what. But I definitely would have liked to put a little bit more time into it. But I think I'm just gonna do a brush up mold. It's fairly cheap. I mean, the cheapest mold would be a not a matrix, a hydrocal mold. But I don't like working with latex because it takes forever to cast. It's very, very time consuming, and it's honestly kind of irritating. If I was doing one, if I just needed to do like one, or if I was making masks, that'll be different. Like you have to take the time to do what's necessary to get the certain product out. So if I was doing masks, I definitely would do a hydrocal mold, but I don't really want to do masks. I want to do little bust or head. It would mostly be wall mounts. I mean, if I don't get to this chest at any time before the end of the week, I'm just gonna do the head, and it's gonna be like a head mount. And I'd prefer to have I'd prefer to be able to cast it in resin. It's just easier to work with, faster to cast. I'm not waiting. And the process of latex casting, it's kind of awkward. I mean, not awkward, but I just don't like it. You would get your plaster mold, which would be this big, chalk-looking rock of a mold that's super heavy. You pour, an entire, 5 gallons of latex into it, give it a couple hours, dump it out, let that dry, dump another 5 gallons in there, let it sit, dump it out again, and then let that dry, and that'll be it. And you're looking at like maybe 6 hours. I could be over exaggerating, but last time I remember it taking about 6 hours just to cast one thing. As to doing if I do a silicone mold, I can get a casting out in half an hour. That's the difference. But it's also because I want to do certain little things here, which I could be able to do with latex anyways. I'm just being very picky. I want to have like clear, bone colored, I guess teeth. I want all these teeth to be separated. I don't want them to be attached. Especially with the eyes, I want to make specific eyeballs just for him. And latex just seems like a pain in the... I don't know. I never liked latex, especially because it doesn't last. I think that's one of the biggest things I don't like about latex is how long it lasts. Especially like if you want to, if you're a collector and you just want to, you're buying something because you think you'll hold it on for, a couple of decades. With latex, you're looking at maybe a good decade until it turns into crap. I mean, some people could preserve. I mean, there's things that have lasted for, a few decades, but most of it just rots away. That kind of sucks. So, yeah, that's me over explaining what are my plans for this. But, I guess it's, relevant to our conversation, obviously, of sculpting the predator. Yeah. And, hopefully, with a paint job, not that a paint job, you should rely on a paint job because it's just going to cover up everything. But, it tends to help everything look good, or look better at least. And that's kind of like my goal with this, that if it doesn't come out perfect, at least when I go to paint it, I'll take my time and I'll make sure it's something, I actually appreciate. I mean, the ideal thing to do would be to finish this up, call it a day, work on, what I need to work on, and then come back to it, and resculpt it again, and resculpting it again could take a second try, could take 3 tries, it could take 4 tries. Especially with wet clay, you know, you're not. It's not like I could put it on a corner, let it sit, then come back to it and work over that. You know, this thing would be rotten by then unless I'm taking care of it. So it's better to just restart. Plus, wet clay is fairly cheap. I mean, if this was, you know, like a Chevant, you know, it could be like this could be between like $100 to $200 worth of clay. As to this being wet clay, it's like this is only like $15 worth of clay, which is crazy, crazy cheap. Yeah, it's ridiculously cheap. You know, but the only downfall is it dries out on you. So that's what's so nice about Chevant. Plus, you could reuse it. Um, as long as you know you don't get crap in it like hair or metal or which I have, and I've just tossed those chunks away. But you know, it's all about your preference on clay. It's all about your speed as well. It's all about your efficiency, how well you can work. Um, but yeah, you know, right now and what's great about um, doing big busts like this, it's easy to uh, make it symmetrical. Hold on. Make sure these things don't get messed with. It's easy to make it symmetrical because you have this like this broad view, and you can work with both hands. You know, you're constantly, you know, you have this distance to kind of see the overall picture. So you're not like, you know, if it was like kind of tall, tiny, you're like just like kind of flipping it over. I don't know. I just like, and you know, it's not like you can do all those little details on a small sculpture and try to make it symmetrical. Or I mean, I'm just saying it's easier to do it this way. I like how simple it is of a process to sculpt at a large scale like this. But yeah, and so you guys can kind of see what it'll look like with his teeth for his tusks, because he kind of looks kind of goofy without them. Let's see, like that. It's fairly what he'll look like. You know, a little better though. These are kind of crooked. But yeah. I don't know how it's coming out on camera, if it looks good or not, but it's not bad. Yeah. I know the light is kind of harsh. Otherwise, you could probably see a little bit of the detail in the mouth. Yeah. And here's the back of the head. It's not done, obviously. And as far as making the dreadlocks, you know, all of that's going to do after. The process of the teeth are going to be after I'm done sculpting this thing. Because before I mold it, I'm going to cut off all the teeth. I'm going to cut off, you know, all these little ones. And it's just going to be like this. And then once I mold it and get my first casting, you know, I'll use that casting as a base to resculpt all the little teeth and nails, and I'll be doing that with I'll do that with like a Chevant clay. Just because these little tips, because the less clay there is, the faster it dries out, because it's easier. There's less water to evaporate. But something like this, water stays trapped inside for a good chunk of time before it starts drying out and cracking. So that's why I would do the teeth out of Chevant. It just give me way more working time. Like you'll see, I just put this on, but it'll definitely be dry in a couple minutes. And as far as the eyes go, these are human eyes, castings of a human eye mold. I just cast it on black because the predator has like the original predator at least has a black eye with like a very, colorful iris. Uh, so I just cast them in black to kind of give that illusion, and I might, before once I'm done sculpting it, I might like paint in a little bit and then take some pictures before I mold it. And he's also missing, if you didn't notice, his little spikes that he has like on the top of his head. I'll eventually, put in some little pinholes of where those are going to go, and I'll mold that separately with everything else. So yeah, that's why he might look a little naked right now. It's because he's missing a lot of those key factors that make him look like the predator. Maybe at the end of this, I'll add some clay dreadlocks so you guys can see what it looks like a little bit, but it's not gonna be pretty. Yeah, and that's one of the other hard things about sculpting this character is trying to get in there in the mouth with all these little things in the way. Because as you can see here, it's already broken. It has a wire underneath, and that's why it's holding on. Obviously, it would have fallen off by now. But this area is probably going to get cut off before I mold it, and I'm just going to sculpt that separately because, I don't want to have to deal with trying to get the resin deep into this, this long valley. It's going to be a hectic. So cutting it off right here is just going to make it a lot easier to cast. And I think the hardest part about this sculpture so far was getting the eyes lined up, because the eyes do make or break it. You could make Predator, but he could look a little bit more alienish, if that makes sense, like more like ET alien, and that's, or like a gray alien, and that's when it becomes too human-like. So I had to like push the eyeballs really back in and give him like a deep socket. And you can't really see it obviously because the light's hitting it straight on, so there's no shadow. But it's definitely a lot deeper in the socket than, like, let's say yours or mine. That's just helping it give, because the Predator has like black eye sockets. At least they're painted black. And it gives that illusion of like that deep, like soulless look. And I didn't want to lose that. So I just had to try a bunch of different ways to make sure it didn't look too human-like, because it would just come off like really goofy looking. And then also like replacing the eyes, repositioning them, has been a challenge, because this eye would be more popped out and this eye would be more sunk in. And usually you'll line it up as you're putting them in. Like, see, stupid thing fell off. But you'll line them up as you're putting them in, and you'll kind of feel it out. But I had to take this eye out because it was just moving. The clay was too fresh, and it moved back. And now it's like this whole mess. I had to reposition this one a little bit higher while it was already looking like this. So, as I was sculpting, the frown and this part, the position of the eyeball had to move. And it was hard to kind of sink it in together. So now this eye is a little messy. And right now I'm just trying to get this eye into place. Otherwise he's going to look kind of goofy, which the original has that goofy, look in his eyes. It's not like it has to be totally symmetrical, but like I said, I like when people look at your sculpture and it looks clean, even if it doesn't look exactly like the actual thing, it at least looks, you know, put together. You don't want to, you just don't want it to look sloppy, kind of amateur-y. Even if, you are an amateur like myself. You trying to give the best impression you can. And another thing that's kind of been kind of difficult with the eyeballs is since they're eyes, human eyes don't have a perfect round shape to them, right in front of the iris or whatever. There's a little bump, and that's kind of what like magnifies our vision. So these obviously have a little bump, but it's hard to see them unless you look at it from its profile. So trying to like angle it so it's not like I sculpt it, it looks nice, and then I realize the bump's downwards. Because when I mold it, I'm gonna be actually suctioning the eyes I'm gonna be using for it in the mold and then casting it. So I just don't want to look like shit. I mean, essentially, I can use like, just other eyeballs and just use those as suctions and take them out, clean up, where the eyeball's supposed to go, and then just shimmy around the eyes that I'm going to use. I know that doesn't make any sense, but it makes sense in my mind when I explain it. So somehow I'll make it work. I just don't want to be kind of simple. I don't want the eyelids to kind of be all goofy. If I do need to shift them around with the eyes I'm going to be using for them. But yeah. I'm also, I've been scraping away at the eyeball too to kind of clean it up a little bit. It just helps, it helps with you focusing on it. It doesn't look too goofy, when you have like just clay like shoved everywhere. You want to keep it clean to kind of give you, a better visual of what you're working with. But yeah, that's been the most difficult part is the eyeballs and the mouth. That's because there's not really a lot of good pictures of the mouth as well. Every picture I find is kind of, caked on with paint, which obviously, that's, of course it is, but, you don't see any, like, raw sculptures of the original Predator. I've seen a few behind-the-scene photos, but nothing to where I can look at it and be like, oh, yeah, okay, that's how it needs to look. It's usually just been, like, fan sculptures or screenshots of the movie that are, okay, that I can get some kind of representation of what the mouth looks like, but nothing that's been like straight on helpful. And that's what's kind of been difficult about this project, is trying to find something that that can help me, block out, because he's such a goofy, looking character. It's so, there's nothing you can compare it to a human, an ant. So it's just looking at reference and trying to like break down the dimensions of it. But I mean, like I said, this one's kind of like a test, not a test, but it's a what I refer to as like a study sculpture, where the best thing you get out of this is something to learn from, something to grow from. But I will be, like I said, I will be trying to finish it. I will be trying to sell it. Those are my allergies. My throat is starting to get dry. But yeah. I'm trying to. Another thing I'm trying to do is build up my portfolio for all the new upcoming shows this year. It seems like this year there's going to be quite a few, and I just want to get ready, have a decent portfolio, have a decent amount of product, and Um, not just the same stuff I keep bringing every year. So my goal is just to try to do something new every year. Like Godzilla was my last year's sculpture, and I want to try to get 2 in this year, not just this one. I want to finish. I mentioned before I wanted to do like a Yoda sculpture. Like I said, I'm drawn to things that I like, and I tend to revisit old projects, and I've done Yoda plenty of times, and it's been a couple of years now, so I think it's time to revisit that project and see how different or how better I can make it from the previous years. And that one I'll probably do out of Chivant, just because I really want to take my time and not rush it. But it's kind of easier to rush with alien stuff like monsters and stuff. I noticed that even in like Chivant clay. And I think what it comes down to is it doesn't have to be perfect. And that's such a lazy way to explain your working process, but it really doesn't. This being proof. But yeah, thank you guys for coming tonight for another live stream session. Like I said, I try to do these every Friday. But I think it's coming to a point where I might be trying a couple new things, here and there. Not saying it's going to happen immediately. Not saying it's going to happen in the next couple months. I just wanted to break away from certain things I was working on to kind of give me a chance to make newer content, be a little bit more involved with social media, because I fail poorly in that, because I'm just not good at taking pictures and making videos. So I just kind of focus on what I am good at, and that's just what I'm decent at, which is just my art. And I'm trying to get ready for everything that this year it has coming. So it's been a little stressful, and I haven't had time to make any videos or do anything different. I've just been working on sculptures, working on paintings. And the only time I have to do any kind of social media is these live streams. But like I said, eventually I do want to do other stuff. Just I'd like to make videos, but it's just everything hasn't lined up yet with my schedule and my time. So I don't know if I'm ready to jump into all that. But yeah, I think next month, which I've explained probably every weekend for the past month already, that April's gonna be, or May's gonna be, like this big old Star Wars month where I'm just gonna make a bunch of Star Wars content. And I think I might stick to that, because there is a lot of projects that I wanted to finish in regards to that, and I feel like giving me a whole month to kind of just focus on, even though it does take away from the stuff I really need to focus on. I've been kind of just a little overwhelmed with all the things I have going on, so I just kind of want to like take a break from it and kind of work on some of my passion projects. Like I have so many helmets I haven't finished, so many like props and weapons that I just want to get done. Helmets, which I already said, but yeah, I just want to jump on some of that stuff, because it's I think it's about time I get those things out of the way. Like I mentioned last Friday, I worked on my skateboard, and it was just kind of nice to take a break from all the stressful stuff and kind of work on something that doesn't require too much attention. It just takes a couple hours and you're done, and it kind of feels satisfying to work on something that for that little of a time and finish it, I guess. So that's going to be kind of the plan for next month. Maybe more videos, definitely still live streams, Um, but yeah, once next year hits, 2022, which even though we're barely in 2021, uh, I got to get ready for um, a lot of things coming in that year, and this year's kind of I would kind of explain it as a prep year to get it, myself ahead and all my projects finished. But yeah, we'll see. That's how it goes. But like I said, thank you guys for, coming to watch today's live stream. I haven't had time to work on this all day. Um, my shop's been a mess because of this clay. When you scrape off little pieces, it turns into little pebbles that dry up and turns to powder when you step on it. So this whole place has been kind of dusty, and I've just been vacuuming and undusting. Because I went crazy on this thing for a couple of days straight. And I just didn't have a chance to clean up, and today I did, and it's just been amazing because my allergies were getting to the point where I wasn't able to be in here because of all the dust. But yeah, not that that matters, but that's what I did today. Clean. And yeah. Also, like I mention all the time, if you guys have any questions or concerns, let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer any of them. Oh, one thing I found out today is that Disney's getting sued by the or the writers of the original Predator right before this live stream. I found out about that, and I thought that was fantastic. It's fantastic if they win the lawsuit and get the rights back for the character from Disney, because right now Disney technically owns them, but it's been over 35 years, so the writers have, are trying to get they legally can, request for their, for their, I guess their rights for this franchise back, and now it's going to court, and that's fantastic because I was kind of afraid. I was working on this project all week, and I just kind of felt that dread of, I hope this doesn't turn into like a hype, Disney movie franchise where they just milk it until it just, until it just becomes unbearable to, so unlikable, kind of like Marvel. I love Marvel, but they're milking it to the point where it's kind of sad and a little bit pathetic. And I was afraid they were going to do this. They were going to do that to this character. I mean, they are still doing it. I mean, all the Predator movies that have come out have been kind of crap, except for Predators. That one was decent. The designs were just crap. But yeah, I was just afraid of what it was going to turn into. So I'm kind of glad that the creators are trying to get the rights back, and hopefully it goes to a studio that knows what they're doing, and at least takes a couple years break with the franchise instead of trying to milk it, and does something a little bit more creative. Because God knows how Disney would destroy this franchise, just like it almost obliterated the Star Wars franchise. And it seems like Disney's kind of picking up on all my childhood, movies, just picking them up. All that's left is like the freaking Jurassic Park trilogy, which I wouldn't be surprised if they got their hands on at some point. But yeah, I just hate that they're trying to, own everything, because I don't want to find out what they would do with the Predator. I do not want to know what kind of monstrosity of a film they would make. Try to make him the good guy, like some stupid crap like that. Make him likable, make him relatable. Make him have modern day problems. God, no. So you can see I'm kind of fixing this eye a little bit. I think it's still a little like tucked in too much. I think I need to pull it out a little bit to match this eye. But that's what makes this thing so difficult. But yeah, I look forward to finally editing that time lapse of this sculpture. And this, this footage, this is all being recorded, so this will all be a part of the time lapse. I think it'll be really cool. I don't think I've recorded that much of a sculpture before. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's kind of fucking annoying. But yeah, like I said, I want to do more sculptures after this, so that's why I don't want to linger on this one for too much. You'll probably only get one more live stream of this one, and then that'll probably be next week. By next Friday, hopefully it'll be done. Where when I do the live stream, it's kind of like, you can tell, it's gone far, and by Sunday, it should be done, and I can get ready to mold them. I'm hoping that next weekend I can go to LA to pick up some supplies, because I've been very, very low on supplies, and it's been kind of frustrating because there's so much stuff I'm trying to get done right now. So hopefully next Saturday, which I don't know what date that is, I'll be going to get supplies, and I'll probably do like a video of me molding this guy. I think it'll be kind of fun. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, his eye definitely is a little wonky. Let's see. Yeah, sometimes when you can't see certain things on your sculpture, it's nice to put it in front of a mirror, or in this case I'm using the camera, which flips the view of it so I can see how off the symmetry is. This one's off. Oh, this side's clean. Yeah, I mean, you can tell, like, I've been working on this side a lot more. You can tell the difference. This side's, kind of wonky. It's a little fat right here. Doesn't have too much dimension. It's just this big kind of, like, blob. So I need to round that out a lot more. And what else? Oh, that's not bad. This one's a little, shorter than this one. But, that doesn't matter because he's going like this. Oh, even if I use my fingers, they're not going to line up. It's not going to be, like, perfect. So I'm not worried about that. But, yeah. So let's fix that. Oh, my God. So these are a lot of the tools I've been using for the majority of this sculpture, which is this one. Oh, and this tool is fantastic. I love it. The only issue is that this is an old one. This is like a really, really old one. One of the sculptors where I used to. Actually, no, I didn't get it from my job. I got it from a class I took out there in LA, and the teacher really liked me, and he gave me, one of his favorite sculpting tools. And this has a spring-back wire, meaning like if you try to like force it, bends back in place. It's really strong wire, and it's fantastic. You'll need a lot of pressure to bend this, but the newer ones. Let me see if I can grab one of those. This is utter shit. So this is one of the new ones, right? Now watch this. Watch this. Yeah. Yeah. That's crap. That's crap. That's hardly any pressure, It's a piece of shit. Look at it. Yeah. Yeah. You can even tell, the difference between the thickness. And you can kind of tell. Yeah, this wire, this is an old tool. So oh my God, this thing is amazing. I hope I never break this. Otherwise, I'm going to have to try to find, whatever year this one was made. Because, they started making these all shitty. That's trash. So yeah, I've been using this tool for a good chunk of it. Pretty much the majority of it. Been using this tool a lot for the mouth. This is a wired tool I made. Getting two spring back wires, or that's what I call them, piano wires, twining them together with a drill, bending them into shape, and then putting them into this little like bronze or whatever kind of metal tube this is. Brass. It's like a brass tube. And then I just recently started scaling down into little tools like these for the mouth especially. I've been using this one a lot. Mostly this side, the wooden paddle, and then a little bit of this for all the details and stuff. So, for pretty much, I would say like 90% of the sculpture, I've been using these two, 100%. All this detail on the top, I've been using all these other little wire tools, but that's a whole nother thing. I think I should zoom out a little bit. I wonder if it I don't know if it's me, but it seems like it zooms in just a little bit. But yeah. Let's get a good far shot. But yeah, you can see how big this thing is. Granted, my head is pretty big, but it's a decent size. It was definitely a lot bigger when I started. Like I said, this clay shrinks, and that's the issue that you run by with this clay. I definitely should have sculpted it a lot larger, and definitely if it would have shrunk, it would have been more proportionate. But I'm fine. I'm fine with that. It's not going to be a mask. It's going to be a head mount. But 100%, I think definitely I'll come back to this sculpture. Maybe next year, maybe when I have some free time. Do my own version of Predator. That was kind of my plan. But I don't like any of the new Predator designs. I don't know why. They don't give the same feel. It's something about them that they don't look right. And I don't think they've gotten the look as good of a look since the first one, and I don't think they ever will. So that was my reason of wanting to do the original Predator, is because I didn't want to make my own because I knew it wasn't going to be as good. So now that I'm cleaning up the inside of the mouth, you can kind of start seeing the stretch and the muscle, and right here you can see how much rough it is. I'm saying you can see. I'm not really sure if you can or can't. Yeah, this tool helps me clean it up. It does leave rake marks, but that's why you spray it with water. You go in with a little sand pad and cleaning it all up. You want it really smooth. You want it really shiny. This is the inside of the mouth, so you don't want it to look all textured out. But yeah. Yeah, and this tool comes in handy for angles like that. Where I kind of pinch in that wrinkle. But you can't even see that. Yeah, I'll pinch in that wrinkle, and then I'll go in and just kind of. Right now I'm doing it awkwardly so you guys can see, but I'll go in and smoothen those valleys. And that's how this tool has been kind of useful for a good chunk of this sculpture. Is it me or the lighting changed? I think it's just me. But yeah. And I'll take some shots after this, and I might post them on my Instagram. I've been trying to get better at posting on my Instagram. It's been kind of tough, you know, because I always second guess my pictures, and you know, I tend not to have a lot of projects going on at once. So what the things I post aren't necessarily, you know, finished or they look good. But this one's at a good point where I feel comfortable taking pictures. I mean, I don't feel comfortable posting anything I post because I feel like none of it's done. Until it's done, like I just don't feel like it's necessary to post. But that's what I gotta do if I don't want to lose all my followers. So I'm gonna try to post more. Can't promise though. Can't promise any of them will look good either. Oh. And definitely 100% this is going to be turned into a cinematic. I don't know how. I don't know how I'm going to do it. It's definitely not going to be I got clay on my face. It's going to look like I ate shit. It's definitely not going to be, you know, high budget where, you know, I try to finish the suit or I try to you know, get actors and all that, like some of my other cinematics I do with my buddy. But it's definitely going to be something interesting. I mean, this could turn into the making of. I've definitely wanted to work on one of those projects again. It's been kind of frustrating for me because those projects are so fun. I love making costumes, and I would love to do a whole Predator costume. But first, there's two issues with this. Number one, I'm not like 6'4", where I would, you know, make a good Predator. So making a suit would probably, I would need an actor. I would need someone to base the suit off of. I would need someone, you know, someone's at least body form, because I would essentially have to sculpt the entire suit. I'd figure out how to mold it. It would probably be a plaster mold. That would probably be the only way I could do it in a budget, unless I do a resin. Fiberglass would be like a jacket mold, and then I think I could cast. You guys have no idea what I'm talking about. I haven't explained any of those types of things to you yet. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it would be a whole process. I would definitely redo the head, and I would do it. I would do it a lot better. I don't want to shit on my head too much because I like it. You know, it's not complete crap, but it's not perfect. You know what I mean? I like it, but I don't love it. But I love it, but I just don't like it. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. But yeah, that would be fun. Sculpting the whole body. I don't know if I would be able to do it by myself though. I don't know how long it would last before it just starts falling apart. I would probably have like a week to 2 weeks. I'd probably have at max like 2 weeks to sculpt an entire body. But would it be possible? I don't know. Maybe I'll hire someone to help me for a whole week. I don't know. I mean, if this shit blows up, I can start like this year is a good year, and I can start affording to do these crazy projects that I've been wanting to do for a while. Because right now this year is crap. Obviously, towards the end of this year, things are going to start looking up. Things are going to look better. places are going to start opening up. I'll get a lot more work, and I'll start going back into doing events. Yeah, until then, I can't really like commit to investing that much on like a massive project, but I would definitely want to. I definitely want to do a big ass predator sculpt. Do the whole body, the hands, all the armor. And what's great about that is with the armor, I don't need to, do digital sculpting, which is garbage. I hate digital sculpting. I mean, I like it because it's very helpful, but I haven't mastered it yet, so it sucks. But with the original Predator, all that was traditional. So I mean, if I follow the steps of traditional sculpting to make an entire Predator suit, I think I can do a good job. I don't need to digitally, sculpt and print a helmet. Probably, if I, if I do a decent job, I can do it from scratch. I would have to resculpt the head though, because I'd have to sculpt the mouth shut. Because if I want the helmet to fit on it, I can't. It's harder to open something up than close it in. So I'd have to sculpt the mouth shut, and then cast the head, and then sculpt the helmet over, a casting of the head to make sure it fits. But that would be sick. That'd be really sick. I'd be totally down to do that. Let's start a GoFundMe. Life-size Predator. I was thinking about doing a Kickstarter with this head. Everybody that, or kind of, I would guess, pre-orders ahead, it would be like, 40% off or 30% off, something like that. And then, once I, have the money to mold it, and cast a bunch, once it becomes on the market, it'll go back to normal price, and whoever didn't, invest in the Kickstarter has to pay full price. Which that's how a Kickstarter works, if you don't know. But something, I don't know. I'm just speaking out my ass, Coming up with ideas. Yeah, definitely gotta smooth these eyeballs a little bit. They are kind of funky. This is kind of weird. I think I might take it out. Seems like the best route with this fantastic tool. Yeah, this is probably like the third time I've taken out this eyeball to reposition it. It's pretty tricky, and I'm not just gonna settle with, especially in the eye areas, I'm not gonna settle with okay, because that could make or break your sculpture. The eyes are or the soul, or the what's that dumb term? The eyes are the soul to the person, or the eyes are the gateway or the bridge to the soul. Whatever, you know what I mean. You just can't mess it up. You don't want to. Trust me, don't want to. Maybe I should just give him an eye patch. Or just put a big ass scar, Like I said, I do want to do the original, so I don't want to change it up too much. Yeah, these are the eyeballs, by the way. I casted up, like I said, I casted up some black resin castings of a human eye, and then I kind of just trimmed it out so it fits in the clay bust. Because this is, obviously sculpted on the head, so I can't put in the whole eye because there's not enough space. It'll hit the actual head of the form. So I had to like trim them like that, and they're slushy castings, so they're kind of like they're hollow. It's not a solid piece. All right, let's try again. Round 3. And does that look good? No, not at all. that look good? Not at all. Yeah, get in there. Get in there. Does that look good? What the hell? That look good? No. So what I'm doing is I'm feeling, you know, the how level the eyes are with myself, how parallel they are with myself. This one's a lot more sunken back, and this one's kind of pushed forward. I think the issue was I put too much clay behind it. You know, usually that shouldn't be a problem. It'll just smush it, and you know, the clay will disperse, and I'll just keep pushing back. But because this clay's hardening up already, it's not that easy. So, okay, let's try again. Okay. Second. Want to fight me? Okay. So what I'm thinking is blow this thing up. No, I'm thinking to trim back the eye a little bit more because I think it's not being able to sink in all the way because it's too big. I think that's where the issue has been coming from. Right? Oh, it still has some space to move back. And this is generally how this shit goes with me. Nothing straightforward. Nothing has ever been straightforward for me. Come on, get your glass eye in. Don't you want to see? Oh, you hear that? That's all that air escaping. And not from my hand. Okay. Bastard. There you go. Oh. That sounded pretty good. Looks pretty good. Let's see. You know what? I think that might work. Alright, let's see. So I'm going to start off by outlining the eye with the eyelid. Right? Get your little noodles. Get your little noodles. Right? Do the bottom first. Doesn't matter which one you do first. I'm just going to do the bottom first to hold it in place so when I do the top it doesn't shift. Next I'm going to do the top. And I think that's good. Just kidding. Yeah, that was pretty sloppy. Usually it's kind of nice to just do it one shot, but that was not going to happen this time. So we're going to back it up with another noodle. You call these wormies, you call these noodles. Okay. Why do all of a sudden you feel like you're too pushed back? It feels pretty good. What's the issue here then? Yeah, that sucks. I think I just need to open up his eyeball a little bit more. Open up the eyelid. I think obviously it's too closed in. He looks Filipino. I need him to look more crackhead. This predator has some crackhead eyes. Like they're not like normal eyes. I mean, you know, define normal eyes. I mean, they're not like any normal eye. There's multiple. You know, like he's like this. Like he's more like this. Like the bottom the bottom like lid kind of like pulls down a little bit. It's more like a circle. Like he looks like a crackhead. He's like this. That's like how the predator looks. So I gotta like open them up a little bit. You know. See how mine, when they're kind of relaxed, they're a little bit closed. You know, a little bit open. The center is cut. The center circle, whatever it's called, the iris, whatever. It's like cut in from the bottom and it's cut from the top, and you're left with only the circle on the left and the right side, and not from the top and bottom. On his case, he has the full, the iris visible. Like he's like this. See what I mean? Does that make sense? So, I just gotta give him some crackhead eyes. Yeah, and I'm really excited to kind of like I've been telling everybody about this, but I'm really excited that events and shows are opening back up. I'm really afraid that it's not going to be how I expected it to. That there's going to be less vendors, less people, crowd control, which is to some degree necessary. But considering I feel like everybody's getting I'm not going to go into that whole political side of the vaccinations, man, and the whole COVID crap, but I'm just hoping. My point is, I'm hoping things kind of can go back to normal, and not in a COVID sense of normal, in a how things used to be, sense of normal. Because I'm really excited for all these events, but not if only half of the people are allowed to, go in the building at a time. That's gonna be just weird. I mean, it's not gonna feel the same. I tend to enjoy these shows a lot, and I just don't want to have that experience ruined after so long, I mean, not that it's worth anybody's health, obviously, your health is way more important, but, at this point, what can we do? Hopefully things go back to normal. Hopefully we can, open back up shows, and, if you do have to be vaccinated before you can go into a show, I mean, that's fine. Whatever, I guess, as long as everybody's safe. If it means everyone's going to be safe, everyone's going to be taken care of, that's cool. Just, I want cons to come back. I want Monsterpalooza. I want Designer Con. I want WonderCon. I want Comic Con. I want that shit back. Tired of playing this isolation game. Grinding under the scope. Gets lonely. I want to meet fellow nerds, fellow geeks. All my fellow nerds are left back in LA. All the homies, all the artist homies, you know who you are. Miss you guys. Yeah, damn. LA was a fun time when I was out there. I had an amazing experience. Met a lot of cool people, saw a lot of cool things, and hopefully I get to relive those experiences once things open up and I get to go back there, get to go to events, meet new people, meet old friends. Finally show the art that I've been sitting on for the past year. Kind of bring it out into light. It's been in darkness for so long. That's what I kind of just look forward to. It's cool. I hope to see you guys there if you guys decide to go to any of them. And if you do, don't be a stalker. If you're not a stalker, come visit me at every single art show. All my homies. Yeah, so this seems a lot better. I feel more confident with this position of the eye. Obviously the eyelid's not fully developed yet. That's why it looks goofy. But I'm getting it there. It's gonna take some time. What sucks is the more I keep spraying it, the more washed out the detail gets. but it's fine because either way the detail's supposed to be coming out. I don't know why I'm doing detail now. I think it's because I was a little impatient, which is kind of, you know, part of my characteristics. I don't like to wait to see, you know, what things are gonna look like. But should have been working on the forms first, especially the eyeballs, before I started, you know, detailing. So a lot of this detail is getting washed off, but I'll go over it again. It's no big deal. You know, you see how skinny his neck is? Chicken neck. That's gonna definitely needs to get beefed up, especially back here, right here. He needs that juicy neck. You know, he needs bigger neck muscles. You know, I'd really be down to finish this whole thing. I don't even think it would take me that long. Probably won't be fantastic, but put a nice paint job on there. Might not be too shabby. You can see this side is not at all developed. It's pathetic. But yeah. So get there. Yeah, it's kind of funny. He looks kind of naked without all his little spikes and dreadlocks. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Another thing I've been having issues with is how big his stupid dreadlocks are. I kind of went from small, these are like the same size, these three, up to here, and then I want to size up, but I'm not sure whether to bring it down to this small size, because I've yet to find the dimensions of his dreadlocks. If you guys can freaking figure that out, that'd be nice, but I honestly have no idea. I have no idea how thick his dreadlocks are. He's gonna look cute though with his little dreadlocks. Like that. Oh, he's gonna look like that. Look, wow. This is more so here. For the video. And by all means, I say I'm giving it 2 weeks to finish it, but that's just the head. There's so much more that needs to get done, essentially. Like, I need to do the dreadlocks. I need to do the little rings on the dreadlocks. I got to sculpt those. Those come in different sizes. I got to do the teeth. I got to do the eyes. And if I end up doing more than just the head, I'm going to have to do, you know, some of the fabrication of the neck, the armor. It's going to be a lot. But at least I can get this out of the way. But yeah, look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. You know, he's an alien, so, you know, when he goes to the bathroom, it comes out of a different hole. My noodles. But here, maybe I can show you guys what it looked like with the spikes. Give it more depth. So I've been kind of dying to see what everything's going to look like when it comes together. Wow. It makes no difference. They need to be a way longer. But yeah, he has spikes everywhere. He has a lot. I'm kind of curious as to how long that's going to take me to mold all of those. And he has some down here too. He has some down here. He has some all along this crest. All along, you know, this cheekbone. So there's going to be a lot. I might look up to see what they used in the original one. Sometimes there's like good behind the scene detail like that. What time is it, by the way? It's 8:40. How long did I say? 8:20? We got 40 minutes. 40 minutes. Let's see how far I can get. And if you've been here for 40 minutes, congratulations. I mean, if you've been here for, how long have we been doing this? An hour and 20? Congratulations. You made it farther than most. I'm constantly looking at it through the camera just to check on myself. I'm not trying to show you guys. I'm not trying to flash him every 5 minutes. I'm just double checking. What's crazy is, you know, I was gonna dedicate this whole month to monster stuff, and it kind of worked out. It's kind of cool. I thought I was gonna run low on stuff, but it seems like every live stream I had something to work on. You know. The first 2 weeks was Godzilla. I did another live stream of casting Godzilla, and now we're doing Predator. Out of all things, I didn't expect to do Predator. And then on top of that, you know, getting ready for next month, more stuff is building up. I feel like I could have promoted this month a little better. Could have made it more aware. I mean, if you weren't watching the live streams, you wouldn't know that this was like a monster month. I think for Star Wars month, I'm going to be a little bit more, not verbal, maybe more visual on the fact that I'm promoting the month to just Star Wars content. You know, I'll post a picture or something to let everybody know, you know, that's what's going to be on my content, my YouTube content for a while. Maybe even on my Instagram content, I might post a little bit more. But, yeah, I'm definitely going to do a monster month during the season of Monster Palooza and all those cons. You know, like, I want, like, a serious month. Like, this month was me trying out themes, and there's a lot I learned, a lot I didn't do that I wish I did. A lot I did do, I wish I didn't. So, yeah, next month where there's a theme, hopefully I do it a lot better. But definitely during like the season of Monster Palooza, I'm just gonna do monster stuff. I'm gonna be doing, you know, vlogs at Monster Palooza, Q&As with people. You know, I want to bring more people on this freaking platform. I just, you know, I'm so isolated right now, and I'm so busy working that it's like I don't remember that there's a live stream until, you know, Thursday. Thursday comes along, and I'm like, oh, I got a live stream tomorrow. Am I even ready for that? It's like, no. But it's usually like Thursday nights I remember. I'm like, it's already Thursday? I'm like, tomorrow's already Friday? Like, I feel like I did this live stream a week ago. You get it? So, so it's kind of hard to, like, you know, keep track and make everything exciting all the time. That's why, like, when I do these live streams, like, I'm grateful that you guys still watch them, even though, like, I'm so monotoned and so unprepared. I feel like every live stream I just come off as very unprepared. The internet always goes out to shit. My sculpture doesn't look the best. I usually like try to like spruce it up before I go live, so I don't look too pathetic. Didn't have that chance, so you know, I'm grateful you guys are still putting up with my lack of preparation. And I'll show you guys a top view of this towards the end, because it's actually kind of interesting. But yeah, like I said, when things calm down, when I get a little bit more of a foundation, I've been kind of hectic for a while. For this past month, I've been a little hectic with my stuff. It's just gonna get worse, you know, closer my deadlines come. But I'll start to be a little bit more prepared, you know, get more videos out there. I keep repeating myself, I'm like a fucking parrot, but you know what I mean. And try to be a little bit more organized. Like I said, I always like to clean up the eyeball. Don't want it to look like he's got shit smeared all over. I still think it's a little too far back. And that's the constant struggle with this thing. Just trying to make sure it's decent. It's been such a pain in the ass for me. when I go quiet, it's because I'm focusing. But yeah, and like I said, with these live streams, I wanna bring more people on board. Um, have guests and more than just me all the time. Because that was the initial plan with these live streams. Obviously, COVID prevented everything cool from happening this year. Um, Therefore, I haven't had an opportunity to invite certain people on, certain friends, certain family, old coworkers. But I'll get some people on. I'm really excited too. I just gotta also get back there in LA, man. There's no connection out here where I'm at. Which is kind of not true. You got the internet. The internet's the best way to connect with people. It's actually the only way I've been able to get all the opportunities I've had was because of internet. Imagine how life would be without it. Dry. Hopeless. Depressing. Oh, look, so much time flies by. Got 30 minutes left. Fantastic. I still have 10 hours to go with this thing. What's crazy is I've been working this entire time on the eyeball, yet, when this live stream ends, I'm still going to be working on it, if not completely, erasing it. And then all that time would be for nothing. That's usually how all this goes. I think we're getting close, though. Think we're getting close. Does that look retarded? Or is that just me? Or is it just me that looks retarded? It might be both. Yeah. So for next week, I think I mentioned I was gonna do another live stream with the Predator. The final, it'll technically be the final update. And I think from that point on, I'm gonna take a break from live streams. For those of you moaning, right now, I'm sorry. For those of you that don't give a shit, I'm sorry. I just need some time to focus on my work, and I'm kind of these live streams haven't been going the best. Internet connections, and most importantly, I'm not always prepared. So I think I might take a break from live streams after this Predator project. And then the month of April, I'm just going to focus on making actual videos for you guys to watch. Because I feel like those are a lot more enjoyable. Because, number one, they're not 2 hours long. And number two, I noticed, it's been proven already. Our generation has a very low... it's hard for us to pay attention for a long period of time. We have a short attention span. So kind of making something that's around 10 minutes that kind of fits everything that's exciting about these live streams and more into that short period of time is a lot more exciting. Unless you guys like spending time with me like this. In that case, just hit me up, you want to spend time with me, just hit me up. I'll probably say no because I'm probably gonna have stuff to work on. But I would appreciate. I'd appreciate the offer, so I can say no. I'm just kidding. I'll probably say yeah. I'll be nice. Okay, I'm gonna leave that freaking eye alone because I want to punch it. I want to punch the shit out of it. I'm just gonna start working on the cheek. You can see I haven't finished the pattern. I need to get that done. Which I love about this side of his face is it's not super like crazy straight. When I went to sculpt because I can see I went over it with clay already, and I'm redoing it. When I did it the first time, I thought it was really sloppy, and then I looked at the actual picture of it, and I was like, it actually looks cleaner than the original one. So I'm trying to do a little bit less clean and a little bit more weird. I don't know how else to explain it. So yeah, I'm going over it again to make it less clean, if that makes sense. Yeah, the pattern for his mouth is kind of weird. It's not like no other. It's honestly just parallel lines that flow in a parallel direction with each other. It's kind of interesting. I do need to go in a little deeper. So I'll show you guys. It's gonna be kind of awkward, but like that. Wow. Right? You gotta be safe. You gotta be gentle. You don't wanna mess up. Because this clay's already hard. So if you mess up, it's just a pain in the ass. You gotta go back with clay, let it dry up a little bit. Look, I already messed up right there. I made it too skinny. You see that? God. And you can see right here, like this is technically the bone. Like right here's the bone. So you wouldn't put as much pressure up there. You'll kind of like just a little bit, right? And then put that thing in there, right? Put that thing in there. And then it has this little like tucking effect. Where it like kind of falls over and then like tucks in and suctions to like this weird stretch. It's really hard to explain to you guys what I'm trying to explain. 'Cause I don't even understand what I'm saying at some points. I hope this live stream hasn't like crapped out at any point. Seems like it's been doing good, right? I'm a pretend it's doing good, okay? Just pretend it's been good. So, just to reiterate, next week's gonna be my last live stream for a while. So if you guys want, I'll try to make it special. I'm no good at making people feel special. That's why I've been single for so long. But I'm going to try to make it special and try to make you guys feel special. And we'll do something next Friday. Something. I don't know what. I don't know how. But it's definitely going to be a while till I do another live stream. Like I said, I need to focus on other stuff. And I feel like I'm giving you guys half-assed content with these live streams, which if you guys don't feel that way, that's cool, much appreciate. But I definitely feel that way. So figure out something. If you guys have any suggestions, hit me up. If you guys want to come join in person, that would be cool too. I don't know who I'd want to bring. I guess I guess anybody that's down to come next Friday live to do a live stream, hit me up. I mean, if I don't like you, I'll ignore you. That's not true. I'm just being mean. Don't be afraid. Just message me if you want to come for the last live stream. I might do it for 4 hours. Might be a 4-hour live stream. But yeah, hit me up if you wanna be a part of it. Bring your art. Bring something you want to work on. If you don't have anything to work on, just let me know. I'll have something for you to work on. Don't be afraid. It's just art. Don't be afraid. Um, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Just let me know. Let me know who you'd want me to bring as a special guest. Huh? You want me to bring George Lucas? I'll bring George Lucas. I'll get him here. I'll bring Steven Spielberg. You know, you guys just let me know. I'll bring whoever you want. I'll bring Kathleen Kennedy. We'll have a roast battle with her. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna do next week's live streams with more than one person. I get zoom out the camera. Oh, you guys see that? Yeah, you see how stupid his right eye is? Or how are you guys looking at it? Is it his left eye? This one. Stupid. I'll come back to it though. See, that eye's a little bit more developed. Still a little funky though. I still need to work on. I need to work on everything, you know? But just imagine it like that. Doesn't it look better? Rawr. You know? I can't do it for more than like 2 seconds. Right. Yeah. You know the sound I'm making. But yeah. I'll show you guys the top of the head later on. It's kind of cool. But yeah. To be honest, I feel like starting these live streams a lot later. I get kind of in the groove towards later at nighttime. Oh, now you're crapping out. The stream's crapping out. Is it? Oh, it seems to be doing fine. We're coming towards the end, so if it does crap. Oh, look at my double chin. My God, I have no shame. Couldn't even suck it in for the profile. That's cool. See, I look robust from the front, right? Like, got a nice chin, right? And I go from the side, and it's like, what the fuck? Oh, yeah. You guys love me for who I am, though, so it's okay. I'm really hoping this live stream's not crapping out right now. Is it just me? Huh. No, it seems to be doing fine. Whatever. If it craps out, it craps out. I'll end this shit in 15 minutes. Oh, it's crispy. Look at that. Should do some ASMR videos. Hey, the video's crapping out, but the audio I feel like is doing fine. If you guys can hear me, that's all that matters, right? All right. Well, I'm just grateful it lasted as long as it did. You know, I thought I was going to have to cancel out this live stream today. I thought it was just going to be a mess. That was kind of a mess. But I think I'm going to cut it short. No, wait. No, it seems like it's doing good again. You know, I'll just go the last 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is. Finish up some stuff, you know, get this nice and polished so I can have a nice finished picture for today. Yeah. Where's my tool? Like I said, I've been using this tool the most. It's just so nice. Look at that. Wow. Come on, slap. Yeah, I'm being a little harsh with the tool. Usually you want to be kind of relaxed and just kind of like let it like polish up the edges. Um, but because the clay's so hard at this point, I do have to put a little bit of force in. Because usually, like, if I would be like kind of like cleaning up these little harsh edges, it'd just be kind of like this, you know, very nice, very soft. That's not working. So I gotta go. And you want to put more pressure downwards. You know, you want to kind of keep the pressure on top always, because it gives that illusion of weight, you know, sagginess. You know, if everything was so perfectly, you know, perfect tube, it wouldn't look right. It wouldn't give the right illusion. So just put a little bit more pressure on the top. Get that thing nice and flat. Not flat, but like a little, you know, a little bit more than, a little bit less than round. A little bit in between, you know. Ah, yeah, nice. And you can see I stopped right here, and that's because it does this nice little curve. But I want to wait till they're all done before I do that curve, because it could change a little bit. Yeah. Am I frozen? God, I gotta stop looking back there because it's starting to frustrate me. You know, I spent $50 on a little, you know, Wi-Fi extender, right? 50 freaking bucks, right? Still shit. Signal still shit. I'm using the internet without the extender because for some reason, with the extender, it's just as worse. Ridiculous. Yeah, and I think, you know, by the time I come back from live streaming, or from my break from live streaming, you know, definitely, like I mentioned, I'll be putting out content, be putting out videos. But when I come back, I'm going to be probably, this would 100% be done by then. This will definitely be done by then. And I'll probably have a casting. I might do a live of me painting it. I think that'll be pretty interesting. I don't know how I'm going to paint it yet. I think I need to make a template for the top of the head. I'm not sure if they used a template for the original one because the patterns are very specific. And I would imagine they would, you know, template it out because it just seems too difficult to freehand every single little pattern precisely on every single casting. But I don't want it to look too, you know, patterned out where it looks just like polka dots. I'll definitely be casting it in white and painting it raw like that. Like usually with some of my sculptures, I cast it a little bit tinted to what the color is. And that's usually my base. But with this one, I think I need to go straight white. I think it's going to be too difficult otherwise. But yeah. And you guys like my hat? If you don't know where this hat is, don't bother joining next month. But like what I was mentioning before, like all this area that I've been working on during the live stream is the most time consuming. I mean, outside of the live stream, if I was doing this raw, just like me focusing, you know, I'd be blowing through this a lot quicker. I would have a big portion of this done by now. And that's because I'd be focused and, you know, I'd be focusing on the broader proportions of the sculpture rather than, you know, the fine little detail areas because that's better to do all at once towards the end. Yeah, I'm yawning because I woke up at 6 today. And I gotta get up really early tomorrow. Um, so I'm not really like burning through this like I got somewhere to be, you know. Just kind of taking my time and slowly pacing through this. Like this is usually like the pace I would go for like a normal sculpture. Um, but with this sculpture, I'm kind of just trying to burn through it as quick as I can. You know, I've explained already why, but I can't really take my time with this. I mean, I could, but I don't want to because I got a lot of other stuff on my plate, like I continue to mention. Yeah, I'm really psyched to finish this thing. Like I don't know, like I'm not really psyched to paint it because the freaking hell of going through painting this whole thing is gonna be ridiculous. But I mean, I'm kind of excited to finish it. I'm not too far away. I'm probably like 60% done, which doesn't seem like a lot to some people, but I mean, considering I've been working on it for a week and I only have a week left, 60% of the way done is great. I'm ahead of schedule. I might be able to mold it. I'll be molding it next week, definitely. So, by next week, you guys might have a video ready instead of a live stream. Also, yes, I'm still gonna do the giveaway for Frankenstein. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to everybody on my Patreon. I'm sorry to everybody who's been waiting. Yeah, when I'm sculpting this, like I said, this stuff turns to crumbs, which dries up, turns to powder, and I breathe it and I cough it. But going back to the giveaway, yes, it's still gonna happen. Don't be sad. Don't be sad. I just need to paint it. I'm gonna be doing a whole line of those and a whole army of those Frankensteins really soon, anyways. So I'll probably get a painting in there at some point, and then I'll finish it at some point. And then I'll bag it up for you guys. Get it ready for shipping. I think I'm gonna do the giveaway only in the United States because I don't want to ship outside. Number one, because you know, the farther you ship, the more it costs, and the more it costs, you know, like you don't want to go the cheap route with shipping because it'll break. And that would suck if it would break during transaction. So I'm gonna do local, and hopefully, and just package it to hell. I don't want it exploding, which that's happened to me already. And then I had to send another one out. It was all that broke was the windmill, which was fine because I didn't mind losing a couple, you know, $15 on reshipping a windmill. That was no problem. But the whole thing, like, that sucked. That would suck if I broke a big chunk of the head off. So I'm just gonna be extra careful. And yeah, it's still coming. Don't be scared. Don't be sad. Am I gonna do a giveaway with the Predator, which you might be thinking, and probably not. I need to make one first. Usually when I just consider doing giveaways, because I've sold enough and I've made so many where I'm just like, honestly, if I let one go, I could care less at this point. It's not gonna bother me. But when I don't even have a single one done yet, then I'm just not thinking about that yet. And I say yet because I do consider at some point doing it. No, my tools are just full of clay. Yeah, that's another thing with this clay. It's so messy. Like, it's freaking messy. I mean, you can be clean with it. I've been pretty clean with it. But like I said, I hadn't cleaned the shop in 4 days of working on with this clay. And it definitely piled up. I recommend cleaning after every day, if not every 2 days. No more than that, because it's going to get way too much for you to handle with the dust and the mess. And I hate mess. You know, I've learned to be a whole lot more organized to the point where I'm like a clean freak with my shop. I could care less about other parts like my car or my room, but my shop, is always everything put away down to the pencil, and not cleaning not like undusting, um, or wiping off all that clay on my like easel after 4 days. It was disgusting. Never gonna do that again. I'm gonna clean up tonight, and I'm gonna clean up tomorrow night, and from that point on. So I suggest if you're using this clay, put some rags down, put some trash bags down, something where you don't get it on the floor, because like this is shop floor, and it's hard to clean off. Imagine carpet, getting it on your carpet. I mean, it might be easy to clean off because it's water based. So you just take it outside and rinse the hell out of it, but it turns into like a muddy mess. So I suggest keep it clean. But yeah, this tool's amazing for rounding off. Like that other tool, this one I used to round off those edges. This one goes over all that and makes it perfect. Like I said, I don't want it to be perfect, but I don't want it to look like a weird slushy cube. I want it to look like a tube, It's a wrinkle. It's technically what it's supposed to be. It's like a wrinkle. On the actual one, on the actual one, I thought like maybe if I got good reference, I'd understand what these wrinkles are. But then looking at like really good reference, I'm like, oh, it's just a weird like tubey design on the mouth. It's actually nothing like specific on the way the mouth opens and the wrinkles drape down. It's just a cool design. I'm just going to clean up the last bit of tubes, maybe polish up a little bit, and we're definitely reaching the end. I like to end this exactly at 2 hours. We definitely have a little bit of more time. Throat. But yeah, I'm just going to clean up a little bit more. And I'm sure everybody that's watching right now is a recurring member to this YouTube channel, and I appreciate you guys for coming back and watching every Friday. And if you are new, thank you. This is kind of what I do here. Is just do art, whether it's live, whether it's a edited video. I just kind of wanted to share my perspective on sculpting and painting and all the things I do. I wanted to give you guys my raw perspective on it, because I feel like, it's been it's kind of weird when I say it, it's been kind of like a big secret of my life. Like, nobody really knows what I do. Or at least nobody really knew what I would do. Nobody knew where I worked. Until I started becoming more active on social media, doing live streams. And it's kind of fun to like share it with people. It's kind of fun to, have a time where I can work on my stuff and, have people be present and, enjoy the stuff I'm doing. And it's been a blast doing these live streams, even though, they've been hectic. Just been a lot of stuff, but I've been enjoying them a lot. And I want to show you guys, more videos. I feel like those are, a lot more entertaining and less, forceful. You're not watching 2 to 3 full hours of it. You're just watching, a little bit. And those of you that, stay for the full, 2 to 3 hours of my live streams, I really appreciate it. It's really fun hanging out with you guys. Yeah, definitely I want to do new things, do more in-person stuff. Hopefully when I can go back to shows and all that, I can do some hangouts with my homies, enjoy, life after quarantine for a whole year, a little bit over a year feels like. Just want to get back out there in the real world, and, being quarantined home and not having things to do, places to go, it's been helping me cope with, with all this. and not that I'm a social person. I'm very extroverted or introverted. I'm very like reserved. But this is cool. It's definitely really cool. So yeah, next week, um, those of you that want to come hang out, this is gonna be my last live stream. Uh, just bring your art, man. Bring some stuff you want to work on. I don't know, work on some of my stuff if you want. I don't care. Just want to have like a whole 4 hour session of art. And if everyone's afraid of the whole COVID stuff and still don't want to be close to a human being, that's cool too. I'll just do a 4 hour session of me drawing or me sculpting or just something more interesting to kind of end off this, these few months of live streaming. You can see it's a lot more polished up, a lot more visible. Yeah. The hardest part about this sculpture is he has a little like skin that stretches throughout all these little tubes. So I have to go in there and add all those little skin stretches by adding little pieces of clay. It's gonna take a while, but I don't think it'll take too long. Like I said, I'll be done by next Sunday. Hopefully you guys will like the final the final version of what this comes out to be. Okay. Let me just double check the time. It goes there. We got like 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Yeah, sorry. Like I said, when I get focused, I go quiet a little bit. But I think we're wrapping up now, so show you guys a little bit. So yeah, there you can see the tubing kind of design. Really interesting. And it kind of like wraps around here and turns into like a wrinkle. Goes from like a design into just like natural wrinkles. You see how nice like the little holes are. I don't know if I should make them deeper. I think that's fine. I think I might go in with like a nice like round tip, wet it, kind of just go in there and make it nice and smooth. And then I might like poke a hole in there. So when I do the dreadlocks, they have like a little key to like glue in there. Yeah, there he is. The Predator. His eye obviously is not done yet. That's why it looks all funky. Still need to figure that out. But this side, this is more of a representation of what it's going to look like within the next couple weeks or within the next week or so. I'll be molding it next Sunday. So, by the following weekend, I'll have a video for you guys of the whole time lapse, the sculpting, the molding, and then maybe even a casting. I'll definitely paint it live. But that'll be like down the line because, like I said, I need next month to focus on just making videos and not live streaming because, yeah. So, that's it for today, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate all the people that came out tonight to hang out with me while I work on this bad boy. But yeah. Should I do a recap on everything I said? Next month, Star Wars theme shit. If you want to be present for next week's final live stream for a good chunk of time, hit me up. Invite friends to watch it live. Get people to come. This is gonna be my last live stream for a while, and get más. Yeah, Frankenstein giveaway still a thing. Don't worry about it. Don't feel like I blue balled anybody. And yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you guys for watching. This leaves live stream. Let me get some photos before I end it off. Some nice shots. Before I forget. Yeah, it's kind of like what the top looks like. It's not perfect. It's there. See that? Yeah. And that's it. That's it. Next time you guys see it will be next Friday, and it'll look way different. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching this week's live stream. It's already starting to lag out, which is fine because I'm already saying peace out to you guys. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys come for next Friday, and I'll see you guys then. A peace.